One of StarCraft 2's most popular pro gamers has recently completed his mandatory military service over in South Korea, and he has decided to return to the game. Now, this particular series, it was played right around New Year's, and according to his Wikipedia, he completed his military service on the 23rd of December. So this was played within about a week or so of the man coming back home. I can imagine he's incredibly rusty, but I'm very excited to introduce to you, in the bottom right-hand corner of the map Oceanborn, that's map number 1 in today's best of 3 series, we're having a look at none other than Parting's main nexus. Now Parting, he ended up, for example, right, just a small tournament, he ended up winning the StarCraft 2 World Championships. I thought this was actually back in like 2013, maybe 2014 or so, but it's even earlier than that. This was all the way back in 2012. It's been about 2 years since I've last seen the man compete, so I'm very excited to find out where he is currently at. His opponent in today's best of 3 series, all the way in the opposite corner of Oceanborn, playing with the Red Terran SCVs, we have none other than Coffee. Now Coffee is actually a very strong Terran player. I don't know if I've actually featured him before on the YouTube channel. He is currently the 3rd highest ranked player from China, currently the rank 48 in the world overall. I believe he's like in his early, maybe to mid-20s or so, and he's been making steady improvements over the last couple of years. He recently managed to, for example, take a map off of Maru, who's widely considered to be the best Terran in the world. So definitely, if you're not familiar with the name Coffee just yet, definitely keep him in mind, because there's a good chance that the man is going to be making improvements as well throughout 2024. At the very least, there seems to be an upwards trajectory. I'm going to be keeping my camera, though, I think, primarily on Parting, just because Parting is such a fun player to watch. So, Parting is a Protoss player who's very, very tricky to go up against. I'm not exactly sure what sort of playstyle he's currently employing, so this is literally his first tournament series that he's played again after coming back. So this was recently played in the Korean Starcraft League number 40. So I think it was right around New Year's. Maybe actually early January, like very early January. No, it can't be. I'm currently recording this on the 3rd of January. No, I think this was played on like the 30th of December. Anyways, literally within about a week or so of Parting coming back home. So I can imagine things are, yeah, feeling very rusty. That being said, StarCraft 2, at least in my own experience, it is sort of like riding a bicycle. If you, haven't done it in a while, maybe it'll take you a moment or two to get back into the swing of things. But as long as you're somewhat familiar with the meta, so it's actually gone for a very quick shield battery over here. As long as you're somewhat familiar with the meta, you can probably be okay. That shield battery is really conservative. I guess he really does not want to take any damage, and this is actually kind of confidence-inspiring, right? This is one of those structures that you really only make when you don't want to lose in the earlier stages of the game, so maybe that's a sign that Parting is actually feeling pretty confident. A little bit of damage done right here to his Widow Mine as well. Is he going to try and set it off? He will. Okay. You can actually set it off, and then if the Adept shades while the Widow Mine is shooting, it usually means that the Widow Mine does not deal any damage, but obviously the timing is very, very close. Nice bit of micro here, though, by both players. That Reaper also forcing that Stalker there to back off. So Parting is well known for his tricky playstyle, but also for his Stalker control. There's no denying, though, that over the last couple of years, we've been able to witness on this YouTube channel some phenomenal Stalker control, especially from players like, for example, MaxPax and Hero. Those guys are the cream of the crop when it comes to, well, controlling their Protoss units right now. Especially MaxPax has been incredibly impressive as of late. So we'll see if Parting still got it. I can imagine that that is one of those things, though, that, yeah, it's gonna take a couple more miles on that bicycle to figure out. Now, if you are interested in following Parting's journey, I will try and keep a close eye out on... Okay, nice little bit of body blocking there. I will try and keep a close eye out on exactly what the man's up to. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Robotics facility over here blocking the retreat path of some of these units. Widow Mine here just trying to be annoying. Blink is gonna finish up, though, pretty soon. Yeah, we're gonna have to sacrifice a probe. I think he's losing a bit too much mining. Nice control right here by Coffee as well. Constantly, okay, there we go. Constantly forcing a lot of that mining to be denied. He does end up sacrificing all of those units, but maybe those Marines didn't realize it, but it was pretty clear to me for quite a while there. Yeah, our Terran player had a nice little income advantage. That being said, though, this was all executed from a relatively late expansion right here for Coffee. He's now decided to go for the second barracks after a 1-1-1, but that expansion certainly wasn't quick. And now suddenly, There you go, he still has it. Now suddenly, Parting is gonna be able to put on a lot of pressure on the other side of the map. Does he get the siege tank? He will get the siege tank. The cost of 1 Stalker so far. Okay, microing those units individually. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, ooh, there does seem to be a Widowmine drop as well. No, that's actually a Liberator. Thought for a second that was a Widowmine, but that would be actually a disaster if that was a Widowmine drop, because I don't think he would have been prepared against that. Good bit of damage done right here as well by Coffee, but if he loses the Liberator for just 5 probes, I really don't mind this right here for our Protoss. I don't know if you can really continue the aggression, so this is just a triple gate opener. Not the 4 gate, so it's not super committed, although there is no 3rd Nexus or anything along those lines on the back of this just yet. Good bit of damage done right here by Parting, look at that. Lovely work. Okay. So yeah, no, he still has it. He still has it. Yeah, I know that it depends on the branch of the military that you serve in, if I understand correctly. Sometimes you do get a lot of time off. So I know that some of these guys, they go to the military for a shorter amount of time in like one stretch. But they don't really get a whole lot of time away from the military, right? And I think it depends on like the branch of the military you serve under, where sometimes you do get like weekends off, and you do get, you know, time around the holidays, and you do actually get some time away as well from the military. Because of that, I can imagine that Parting is not completely rusty, you know? The man certainly, yeah, has held a mouse and keyboard over the last couple of years. We have, by the way, a 3rd Nexus coming up right now. But on the back of this, we also have a Templar Archives together with Charge, a War Prism, and 5 additional gateways. So this is going to be an 8-gate push right here from Parting. And it's going to be up to Coffee to try and hold it. So he will probably try to strike as soon as the Terran player decides to fly on over the 3rd command center. That's usually the moment where Terran players are relatively vulnerable, when they haven't quite built up that infrastructure yet over at the 3rd base location. Raven is nice. Yeah, I'm not in love with it though. There's already a observer set up over here as well on the right side of the map, so yeah, I think this should be intercepted quite nicely. We have a Templar transition here too, so feedback would shut this down, yeah, within about half a second here for Parting. I'm really liking how this is going so far. So I've been very impressed, by the way, by Coffee. I think Coffee genuinely is one of the up-and-coming Terran players here. Like I said, currently the rank 48 in the world overall, and just in general, he's been showcasing us some stellar gameplay over the last couple of months. If Parting can already take a series off of somebody like Coffee within about a week or so after coming back, I mean, that would be a very good indicator. Don't get me wrong though, Coffee certainly is the favorite going into this particular match, but so far so good. Templar drops, okay. How much damage can we do, Parting? Storm is done. This is not a strat we see very frequently. Oh my god, that's so much damage done. You love to see it. Yeah, no, this just puts a smile on my face. Widowmine drop coming up right now, but this is starting to become very desperate here for Coffee. He needs to get work done over here. For him, it's also a little embarrassing, right? Like, if you have recently won against guys like, for example, Maru, and then, well, at least he took a map. And then you come back to a guy who hasn't really touched the game in quite a while. It is not quite the situation you want to find yourself in. Ooh, okay, now that's a nice hit. 8 workers there in total. Widowmines are currently cloaked as well. We have a medevac drop over here, not perfectly positioned. Careful, Coffee. Losing an additional 10 supply worth of units would really, really suck. We have an observer. We probably need to unsiege that observer. Instead, we're gonna, okay, rely on a new one, I think. Yeah. I don't even see it. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. It's not even cloaked on my screen, and I can't even tell. Sometimes these units, they kind of blend into the background when the Nexus and the other Protoss structures are backgrounds. Anyways, we've got ourselves another prism full of Templar. I've got a feeling that Parting, yeah, he's got a 4th Nexus, but I think the man is ready to go for an attack if he needs to. I mean, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with the way he's playing a macro game. I actually, going into this series, I expected a lot more like 2-base shenanigans. Usually that's what players fall back to whenever they're a little rusty in the game. They go for timing attacks and just try to get, you know, early game wins. So that's why that shield battery right at the very start of this game already was confidence inspiring. How much damage though can this storm drop do? Quite a bit. My god. Nice control here, although I don't love the positioning right there on those stalkers. Keep in mind that these may also be some of the first games that Parting is playing on these maps. So yeah, this little corner here may not be something that he's all too familiar with. Blink, beautiful, great blinks. Raven harassment on the other side of that map got shut down with ease as well. Parting obtains the victory here in game number 1. Yeah, I think it's time to take the training wheels off, Coffee. Going into this series, I can imagine you're also not entirely sure what version of Parting you're going to get, but that was some stellar Protoss gameplay. Let's see. So for a second, we were gonna go for a low ground depot. Now, we're gonna have to switch things up a bit. It's clear and obvious here that Parting still has that control that he's very well known for, and that he's more than happy to play the macro game. I mean, again, that wasn't a 2-base all-in. The man had 4 Nexus. He strategically played everything correct there. Yeah, I don't think he really made any critical errors. Yeah, you could see that he wasn't super smooth with the base defense, I suppose, right? If we're being super critical, I think upon seeing that Widowmine drop coming in, guys like, for example, MaxPax would have already unsieged that one observer that was hiding in the dead space on the right side of the map to make sure that those Widowmines are cleaned up a little bit faster, right? Those are small moves that are relatively recent developments actually in StarCraft 2, rather than remaking an additional observer. Usually that's the transition that we see these days, but it's, yeah, it's inspiring to see Parting once again doing this well within just a couple days. Alright, Coffee. What are we gonna switch up this time around? Widowmine drop didn't really do a whole lot. Raven opener didn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, you took a bunch of damage as well from a tree gate, or just a 3-gate stalker attack. A tree gate. That's how I used to say the number 3. For Dutch people, the TH sound is usually very hard. If you ever interact with any Dutch people, or maybe you go to the Netherlands or whatever, you will notice a lot of... It's not a sound we have in Dutch. So, you know, the TH, it's not a... I also kind of struggle with it sometimes, though. Especially if it's like in the middle of a word. I kind of feel like I'm good at the TH sound when it's like at the end of a word or if it's at the start of a word. But for example, mothership. I gotta focus on that one, you know? I gotta make sure that my TH sound is on point. Much easier said than done. Anyways, another thing you'll notice from Dutch speakers is usually they don't really make a distinction between the V and the F. So that's another thing. So we'll have the Raven and the Raven. The investor and the infestor. There's, in Dutch, we don't really have much of a difference when it comes to the V and the F. Apparently we do, but at least that's what people have told me. Apparently there is a pronunciation difference between the V and the F in Dutch, but I honestly can't tell. Anyways, that's why I used to say videos. Hello, welcome to another video. My name is Lowko. Adept coming in, slowing down this base, getting the kill. Not bad whatsoever. Slowing down this expansion in any way is super nice because look at this. Currently, Coffee is supply blocked. He requires this command center to be done in order to not be supply blocked. So already this is not off to a great start right here. Prioritizing that very quick starport now. And yeah, we're going to be going into the Cyclone. Now that the CC is done though, all the production here can continue. And it will be Blink once again. Another thing that will probably happen, that would probably happen is that Parting will play the same strategy over and over and over again. I would not be surprised at the very least if the man has got one build that he's feeling semi-confident with right now. And it's gonna take him at least a few months of solid gameplay before he is going to, yeah, have a lot more variety in his play. Dude, getting that second, oh my god. Gets a mule. That was a fresh mule as well. Very pricey. Does he get the Adept out? No, he will not. So that's an interaction that works out ever so slightly different. That's the Hellion going down. The Cyclone, of course, recently got updated. It looks like a Cyclone. It's called a Cyclone, but honestly, it behaves very differently than the Cyclone that Parting used to play against. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, I really like this situation right now for him. Okay, Marine drop in the main. Bit of damage being done. Blink is going to finish up in just a few seconds. With Chrono Boost, those seconds tick by much faster, although good targeting right here by Mr. Coffee. Yeah, okay. Ultimately, all of this will fall, but it's slow going. It's a lot of probes going down here, too. Cyclone has decided to just drive across the map. Okay. You know what? This might actually be a little too much right here by Coffee. Yeah, probes are finally pulled away as well from their mineral line, but those stalkers in the main base were not in the perfect position to shut all of this down. Alright, Coffee just dealt, he just dealt a tremendous amount of damage. Yeah, 12 probes and 5 stalkers right as the Protoss is ready to go for some aggression. This is this time around also a 4-gate opener, so this is intended to be a lot more committed, right, than what we saw in the previous game, and I don't think Parting can really commit to this anymore. He can try if he wants to, but I've got a feeling he's going to be in a world of trouble. Look at this. SCV's already ready for the repair. Siege tank set up in the main base. Second siege tank is going to be, yeah, located right over here. These stalkers are going to have to kill about a dozen workers in order to justify this opener right now for Parting. So what exactly went wrong right there for Parting? Well, his stalkers are standing... Oh, okay, he gets to kill at the very least. That's something. Raven donated as well. That's a little funky. He was positioning his stalkers right over here, rather than where they should have been inside of the main base. He did not quite expect a marine drop to come in at that point in the game. And again, though, that's also part of that new Cyclone design, right? Because of that Cyclone start, it's something that Coffee could actually afford in this game. Okay, alright, we can pick up some of the stalkers, sure. Double blink him, dude. You love to see it. This guy over here, though. 1 confirmed kill to his name right now. Absolute stalker murderer. I would like to see 4 stalkers loaded up into the prism and to go around the side and maybe pick off... Yeah, exactly. This is a very cool move that we oftentimes see deal maybe like 4 to 6 workers worth of damage or so. That would help out a lot. I would also like to see a 4th... Or, not over there. I would like to see a 3rd base right over here. Maybe the 4th over there later. Missile turret coming up over there in the corner. Quite like that actually here for Coffee. Getting the kill on that would be huge. Prism, that is. Any damage right now is nice. Banshee on the other side of the map. Okay, once again, that defensive shield battery, though, has been set up. Lovely micro. He still got it, though. Like, the micro has been impressive. There's the storm once again. Yeah, so not all too surprising. Parting is essentially doing the same strategy. 2 games in a row right now. A little bit more range right here on Coffee's opener. And this is a weird combination of units. Like, this is not something we saw back in 2021, which is, I guess, when Parting last competitively... Must have been, like, maybe November or so of 2021. Maybe October. He needs to recall. This is not the style that we used to see from Terrans back then. Okay, too slow on the recall. Yeah. All of this, though, is very forgivable. Like, these are developments in the meta that you simply have to be aware of. Because otherwise, yeah, you end up taking more damage than you should have. Right now, this attack from Coffee is gonna be a scary one. We don't have a 3rd CC yet, so that one's coming up right now. I think Coffee is ready to go for an all-out attack on the other side of the map. He doesn't really have to, but... I don't think he should let this opportunity slide. I think with... yeah, a month or 2 of practice... getting back into the meta, right, and knowing exactly what to expect... Parting looks like he's once again going to be a force to be reckoned with, which is exciting, because Protoss is objectively stronger than it used to be 2 years ago. And Parting was very good 2 years ago. They've received a bunch of buffs. Protoss in general, in tournaments at the very least, has not been nearly as successful. Storm drop? Don't lose another prism, please. Maybe Parting can change that tide. Wouldn't mind dropping the main base. No reaction! No reaction. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. A lot of Protoss units going down inside of the main base at the same time. Parting is also losing the fight over here at the front. Lovely work by Coffee. Throwing a curveball here, cleverly played. GG is called. Apparently the main army, it wasn't even really necessary. Okay. Our final game for today, it takes place on the map Solaris. And Parting decides to pull a probe right at the very start of this match. And he's sending it towards the other side of the map. Curious. Very curious. What are we gonna do, Mr. Parting? I didn't mean to call you a one-trick pony in the previous game, dude. But yeah, I can imagine you're feeling most comfortable playing one strategy, and that's the strategy you're gonna play most of the time. Apparently we're gonna go for a little bit of a proxy gate. So this is the max specs opener, right? Which would be really bad if Coffee is going for a double gas start. He is going for a double gas start. This is a really good build. So this is something that max specs came up with several years ago, where you go pylon into proxy gate. This is a really good build if Terran is going for a fast expand on the low ground, because oftentimes if they go barracks into CC, you will be able to at the very least slow down the expansion and sometimes even kill it altogether, which is a very strong start for Protoss. However, Terrans over the last couple of months, and again, this may just be something that Parting isn't all too familiar with, they have been mixing this sort of stuff in a lot more frequently. So this is a fast factory opener rather than a quick expansion on the low ground. And because of that, I don't see what Parting is going to be able to achieve. Yeah, so at this point, he must realize, oh, snap. I'm making a zealot over here, but we'll see what he gets done with it. Cybercore in the meantime at home. Obviously, this is going to be a slow expansion here as well for Parting. Yeah, he actually should have had that probe on the low ground already, so this is not the most pristine Protoss start, that's for sure. Although Coffee just barely does not see that Zealot. Zealot actually waiting right there, off to the left side of the stage, waiting for his Q to come back, but I'm still not in love with this. So now it's a very clear example here for Coffee, right? The timing of the Zealot makes it very obvious that this is indeed going to be a proxy gate start. As long as there's an SCV repairing, I don't think that Protoss is really going to be able to achieve all too much. And yeah, ultimately, this is a start that Coffee will be pretty happy with. Because essentially what's... Oh, careful that you don't accidentally... Yeah, I've seen this go wrong. If you throw that grenade over here, the Zealot could actually be booped towards the other side. Get into the main base. This can still deal damage, though. Don't get me wrong. Cyclone coming up right now. Cyclone is absolutely critical here for the base defense. Throw another grenade. Okay, nice targeting. No grenade apparently necessary. Marine over here dealing a bunch of damage. Now the Cyclone is done. Beautifully played right here by Coffee. Honestly, that was stellar. I thought for a second the Reaper was going to die, but no, he's been doing a phenomenal job. Jimmy, get to the back. Lovely stuff. Second Stalker just about to pop. He's trying to hug this as well because he knows the timing of when that unit is supposed to come out. Careful though. These Terran units are all very flimsy. Nice control right there by Parting, as is to be expected. More Marines do show up. Cyclone stays alive. Okay. The thing is, the control here on those two Stalkers is really good. The problem is that this start is still a complete failure right here for Parting. If this would have been a quick expand on the low ground, I think this expansion would have... Yeah, that expansion would have been in a lot of trouble, but not the style that Coffee has been playing throughout this series, and cleverly so. This is one of those, at least assuming you micro your Terran units reasonably good, this is one of those, I don't want to die to stupid stuff, early games right here for Terran. Parting actually showing us a different follow-up this game, so it's once again that shield battery here inside of the mineral line, but we have ourselves a Phoenix follow-up. The Phoenix opener certainly plays out very differently, though, from the Stalker start. As in, generally, you're gonna be playing a bit of a longer game. Usually, Phoenixes, they seem to lead towards Colossi. It could definitely be a Blink follow-up, too, but I don't think so. I think this is gonna be Colossi. That does mean, though, that Coffee gets to do whatever he likes for the foreseeable future. So Coffee mostly just playing the same build, it seems. Although, I don't think we have... Where's the Widow Mine? Ah, okay, I was gonna say, yeah, we don't have a Widow Mine here inside of the main base. It's gonna be the double Cyclone here at the front, already killing one additional Stalker. Shield battery here at the front, absolute necessity. Okay. Yeah, keep the Stalker alive. Lovely work. I do love having a player, though, who... I do love watching a player, I guess is a better way to put it, who's very focused on microing units. Like, Parting is... I think he probably is the original guy that popularized Stalker openers in general. Like, you know, in the very early days of StarCraft 2. We never really used to see a ton of Stalker builds, but... I would not be surprised if Parting is like the original architect of the modern style of Protoss that we see these days. There's the Robo Bay, together with the third Nexus. Stimpack only just now started up though, so this is not really a style where Coffee is going to be aggressively marching towards the other side of the map and pile on as much damage as possible. Not really that tempo style that we see from players like, for example, Klim very, very frequently. But he is going to be able to finish up all of those upgrades here eventually. And this is going to lead to one hell of a timing attack. It is going to be up to Parting to defend against this upcoming push. That's usually why the Colossus is built. The Colossus, absolute essential. Absolutely essential to deal with a marine-based timing push. So he should be able to get it out, yeah. He should be able to get it out in time, because Coffee is not quite ready yet to go for a big attack. Instantly going into the ranged upgrade as well, for those Colossi, so... He's gonna have like 1 or 2 units that are gonna be absolutely critical in the upcoming fight, and he's gonna have to control them very nicely. Ooh, nice cancel right there. If you pick up a Cyclone and drop it back down with the Phoenixes, you force that cooldown, of course, on the lock-on ability, so it's one of the ways that you can quickly save units if you are fast enough with your control. Charge on the back it is too here for Parting. Okay, so here's Coffee. Going for a push, this will be spotted by the Observer. But my question is, does Parting have enough just stuff? Will he have enough things to defend against this? I would have loved to see Interference Matrix researched here by Coffee. For some reason, he's going for auto turrets. I'm not in love with that. Interference Matrix on those Colossi would be absolutely amazing, although he's still softening up a lot of these expensive Protoss units, though. I mean, those were the cheapest Protoss units out there, but they're still expensive in the big picture. Marine drop in the main base. Push over here at the third. Forcing that Protoss player to split up their, well, big, expensive, heavy hitters. And you can see that Parting just doesn't have the units available to do it. If he decides to march on into the main base, then this fight over at the third is a loss. Excellently done right here by Coffee. Yeah. So now he sees the Colossi. We should move forward. Go, go, go. There you go. A little bit of damage done inside of the main base. This is not over yet. A couple Marauders apparently forcing some of that fire away. There's the Widow Mines Barrow as well. Nah, this is just a little too bad. This is just a little too much damage that the Terran is going to be able to do because of that early game decision there from Parting. He's making the best of a very bad situation, but he probably should not have been in that situation in the first place. So he played a strategy that was popular 2 years ago. And I guess this is a good example of, you know, Grandpa coming back to the game after, you know, not playing it for a while, maybe not watching the meta as closely as he could have, and then ultimately he's, yeah, playing the game like it used to be played back in the day, but it turns out the meta has improved quite a bit ever since he first retired. That's something, though, that he can certainly catch up on pretty easily. Yeah, that is just a matter of putting in hours and watching pro games. Double expand right now from Parting, so he's decided to put all of his eggs in one basket and just play the greediest game possible. It's not quite GG just yet, but the upcoming attack, well, now it is. Sorry, I missed it. I didn't even realize that there was still a medevac over in the little bit of dead space here. I backed up like 20 seconds in this replay. I don't think it's GG just yet, but right now it basically is. This is too much damage for Parting to come back from. Nice retargeting as well right there by Coffee, making sure that that Widow Mine stayed on top of that probe line. And alright, that effectively makes this an all-in. If Parting can win this series, I mean, I'd be very impressed. He does have a scary army right now. But, yeah, there's +2 coming up. We've got ourselves Ghost on the production tab as well. Parting putting all of his eggs into this particular army. I think he should cancel those Nexi right now. Just warp in as many Zealots as possible. This is still a scary force. You know what? This army needs to be respected. SCVs pulled away as well from their mineral lines. Those force fields actually putting in a ton of work. Vikings trying their very best to just target fire down those Colossi. Marauders, though, are starting to break through a lot of this. Great control right here by Coffee. Microing his heart out. And ultimately, it's indeed our Terran player who obtains the victory.